Hello everybody to a brand new Let's Play series in Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich. Today we are going to play as White Ruthenia, soon be Belarus. So which route are we going to be playing? There's a few different routes we can go for. We're just going to kind of let things go with the flow. By that I mean I have not really decided which route we're going to be taking. We're just going to kind of take whatever comes naturally. We'll get our troops ready to go against the Russians, because Russia is going to be our primary adversary for this campaign. I'm trying to think, like, who else? I mean, technically the International is going to be an enemy of ours in the future, but that would only really start to come up after Russia's already dead. That's the only time we'd really put troops against the French or the British. Maybe if Ukraine also goes join the International, that also might be an issue. But for now, I think Russia is our primary adversary for this series. Be starting off with our national focus. Let's go with... yeah, a civilian factory seems like that'd be a good way for us to start. Research slots, we're going to go with all of our basics. Research, production, and how many factories do we have? 2 civilian factories available. Do you know what? I'm not going to take construction right now. I've learned that getting construction upgrades when you have like no civilian factories probably is not really worthwhile. We're going to try to build one more, but I mean, this will be done in July 31st. Like 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now. It's quite a while. And that's not even saying we might just start importing weapons and steel from the Germans. 2,000 guns. What are our divisions look like? They're looking like 18 stacks. If I make you into a quick 25, or into quick 20 combat width, there we go. That's going to use up about 600 rifles. You can probably go, I think, with 2 infantry here. What is our cap? We can get up to 9 with these units that we have now training. And White Ruthenia, the starting situation, also this is kind of freaking out. The troubled birth of the Belarusian People's Republic, although still commonly referred to as White Ruthenia, took place in the backdrop of the Visit Creek in the Russian Civil War. When the German army entered Minsk in February of 1918, they were largely unaware of the people that lived in the region, assuming the East Slavic people there were merely Russians under an old Polish aristocracy. In their defense, the Belarusian national revival had only begun in the 1890s and was largely restricted to a small but growing urban intelligentsia. The first Belarusian political party, the Belarusian Socialist Assembly, commonly called the Hromada, was only founded in 1903. Nevertheless, the Germans were quick to exploit this unfolding situation as they steadily delegated powers to the Belarusian National Council, or the Rada, 1918 onwards. Having witnessed the Bolsheviks forcefully disband the All-Belarusian Congress merely 2 months before their arrival, the German army saw a way to weaken Russia and therefore Bolshevik power in the region. Limit Polish influence in Eastern Europe by supporting the creation of a White Ruthenian state, albeit under close German supervision. The independence of White Ruthenia would be recognized through the Treaty of Minsk in 1920, although its borders were far smaller than the Rada had hoped, as the Germans favored a more defensible border within the Dnieper and the Dvina. While this was met with disappointment by the Belarusian nationalists, there had been no way to press their claims. Nevertheless, this curved the BNR's ambitions to a more manageable area, where it was clear to even the staunchest nationalists that Belarusian national identity was weak and the Republic had limited popular support. In the late 1920s, the Rada ceded its power to the promised Constitutional Assembly, that adopted the Constitution and held elections to the Shoim, Parliament of the People's Republic. Since then, the government has been dominated by the Belarusian Social Democratic Party, formed in 1918 as the Hromada splintered over the question of collaboration with Germany. The BSDP then reformed the Hromada into the Belarusian Peasant and Workers' Union, a center-left and leftist electoral bloc. Under the leadership of the new Hromada mold, the BNR, as a progressive state, focused on creating a more solid Belarusian national identity and combating illiteracy by greatly expanding education and cultural influence. The future looks bright for Belarus, but clouds are gathering on the horizon, such as Black Monday, which is definitely going to probably cause some debuffs. I'm not too sure how bad the debuffs are for Belarus. I mean, we'll find out in like a month from now. Okay, so Kren's been shot. Orlov stormed Moscow. So yeah, we're going to see Russia going for the Sannikov bath. I think maybe this could also lead to the Russian Civil War, but I'm pretty sure it's primarily for Sannikov. We'll see them take over power soon. Of course, we are a little puppet state. You off. We've now researched trucks. That's cool. We'll then go for your popular support, which does give us a little bit of political power gain. So this does actually make sense to get this started a little bit early. Necessity of reform. Social Democrats take great pride in their nation-building achievements, creating one of the most progressive nations in Eastern Europe. However, one of the main concerns in the mind of Belarusians during the foundation of the People's Republic was land reform. Belarusians were, for the most part, merely landless peasants, and most of the land was owned by Polish or, to a smaller extent, Russian aristocrats, which have been the greatest impediment to Belarusian national building and economic prosperity. Nowadays, most of the land is finally in the hands of Belarusian smallholders. There are still many other landless peasants, and many hectares of owned land by foreign aristocrats, or one of the two churches of the country. For many, it is clear that the Plan Saradia, the informal name of the land reform program, has stalled since the first year after passing in the Shoam, and many have grown frustrated by the lack of progress, and the Minister of Agriculture quickly ran out of funds as they compensate former landowners during the ownership transfer. While the majority of the BSDP insists that progress has been steady, there's growing internal opposition not only within the Hermata, but the leading party itself. The party internally debates how to help finance the plan. It remains to be seen whether they will decide on an increased budget or something far more radical, as many within the party calling for increased support. We now have some reforms. Ruling party. So this fails if we're not Social Democrats. We have 450 days to do it. Mildly effective success, but right now it is fairly popular, which I'm assuming has to do with getting our plans here going. I know that Belarus can also go national populist. I'm not too sure exactly how that plays out. Actually, I'm wondering if can Nationalist Belarus, led by you, Peasant Party, the Green Oak, can they join up with Russia? I know at some point Belarus can side with Russia under certain circumstances. I wonder if maybe we could get that to work in this playthrough. But again, we're mostly just going with the flow. I don't actually know the path to Belarus very well. So the General Jewish Labor Bund and the BNR. Within the current borders of the Belarusian People's Republic reside around 500,000 Jews. There's another 500,000 within its claimed territory. From the revolutionary times of the Wilkrieg and since, the Jewish population in the country has been deeply involved in the Belarusian nation building, and every urban area in the country has a significant, if not majority, Jewish population. Nowadays, the dominant organization representing the Jews and Jewish interests is the General Jewish Labor Bund, or simply the Bund. The Bund is a progressive organization heavily inspired by Austrian social democracy. Their program of Jewish autonomism, inspired by the Austro-Marxist personal principle, hopes to achieve self-rule and cultural autonomy with wherever the diaspora resides, without resorting to the creation of a Jewish state. They have been successful in making a personal principle enshrined into the constitution and the adoption of Yiddish as an official language alongside Belarusian, and have for a long time been partners of the Social Democratic Party as part of the Peasant Workers Union. Their opposition within the Jewish community, labor Zionists and folkists, have been significantly marginalized since the 1920s. The alliance between the BSDP and the Bund have proven to be a powerful force in Belarusian politics. However, despite their best efforts, anti-Semitism remains rampant in the country, and a rapid growth of far-right Krivians have made the Bund uneasy. Yeah, because the Kirvia is what Belarus can be called as the Yugo National Populist. Do I want to trade half my factories for rifles? I don't really know. Do you have artillery support? What's your recons right now? We literally do not make artillery, which is not good. What I do want to do quickly, I want to look at the Belarus military. We can't actually do this until either the coup is finished or we resume the plan here. I'm assuming this is where either we stay Social Democratic or we go National Populist. Yeah, so you go with the Revived Military Council. 2% recruited population for such a small country like Belarus would be quite nice. Training time goes down. Cavalry bonuses are a little bit meh. Arms imports. Do we have anything that just gives us factories? Yes, you have 2 factories here. They require you. You require partisan warfare and local munitions, which are these. Okay, no matter what, we can get these factories going. However, never mind. No, this still continues on with this plan. So that's 3 military factories here. Conversion cost, I think, is basically hot trash. Planning speed, bonus force land doctrine, heavy equipment imports. I think we want to go for the Home Guard. Again, just that recruit population for such a small country like Belarus would be really nice. Okay, Black Monday has happened. Aurelian's been elected in France. Because right now, I forgot what else you going to. What recruitment are we on? We're on limited conscription, so we're actually already on this. You'd have to take a small debuff to get extensive. Training time might plus 10% is not really that bad. But, yeah, we just want more manpower. So I think we want to go for the home guard. A black mine has hit Belarus. The shockwaves of the collapse of the Berlin Stock Exchange and the ensuing economic turbulence have reached all colors of Middle Europa. So what is our penalty here? Cat minus 20, factory minus 25. You know what? That's actually not bad. That's, I would say, a fairly reasonable Black Monday modifier. If anything, I'd say that it's actually very lenient. Like, there's no construction penalties. I'll go with this. These guys ready to go. We also should have signed a field marshal. But yeah, it's not that bad. I feel completely okay with... I mean, it's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's not good. But there's way worse things that could have happened. We will then go for the Congress of Hrmada. In the Sierra report. The need of land reform in Belarus has been recognized for decades. The landowning class in the country have been overwhelmingly Polish or Russian, the former having by far the biggest share. While the majority of ethnic Belarusians were peasants, few of them owning land that worked. This led to considerable class tensions up until the Weltkrieg, especially as nationalist consciousness of the Belarusian people began to grow in the lead up to the Weltkrieg. As such, as a way to cement the creation of the Belarusian national identity, uplift the peasantry from crippling poverty, and weaken the power of the land gentry, land reform has been part of the political program for most political parties. However, it would prove easier said than done. While the radical left, and increasingly the radical right as well, have long preached for the seizure of redistribution of land by the government, the Social Democratic Party has not been willing to do so without the consent or the compensation of previous owners. Leaving it would destabilize the young country and bring the ire of our German allies. As such, after roughly a decade since it's been launched, Plan Sierra, named after the People's Minister of Agriculture behind it, has been a mixture of success and remains incomplete. In his report, People's Minister Zan Sierra has highlighted the land reform success, especially in the first year, and has pointed to a limited funder of compensations as a major hindrance, especially as an increasing amount of government budget moved towards the industrialization plan. Nonetheless, Sierra concludes that the land reform program will be completed before 1939, earlier with extra funding, while emphasizing that compensation landowners have been a net positive effect as they invested into different economic sectors. Okay, Austria is abandoned the Italian Republic. This is a very, very quick 1 week focus, and we're going to get another event after this as well. Okay, the Qing basically no longer exist. And the Congress of the Belarusian People's Peasants and Workers Union. With the collapse of the German economy fresh in their minds, the delegates of the Belarusian Social Democratic, the Belarusian Party of Socialist Federalists, and the Belarusian Party of Socialist Revolutionaries have assembled to discuss the future of Plan Sierra. Socialist revolutionaries have long criticized the plan as reactionary and far too giving to the foreign landowners. Compensating for all the lands redistributed has been a massive state expense, which the budget has struggled to handle. With cuts largely being responsible for the plan's slowed progress. The left wing of the BSDP, informally led by Prime Minister Siam Rak Levitsky, have taken the same position as the BPSR, new plans, and even President Taras Kivik has begun to consider a radical change of plans. Zan Sierra, the People's Minister of Agriculture and a member of the BPSF, has hardly defended a plan both within the Hrmada and at the Zhom, and is believed the budget increase will be more than enough to get it back on track. Former leader of the BSDP's right wing, Anton Lutzkowicz, has warned that radical course would alienate their German ally, already cautious of Hrmada's open socialist leaning, and fears that they would support reactionary elements with the People's Army and the Zhom against them should they adopt a dangerous Bolshevik plan. The future direction of Hrmada belongs to the centralists of the BSDP, who will tip the favor between Sierra's moderate proposal or succumb to the social revolutionary pressure and their populist rhetoric. So what I think we will do, the army will have issue with this. I think we will start the plan. We resist the radical pressure. We resume Plan Sierra. Because we don't want Germany just invading us. It would lead to a very short series. Okay, yeah, so war's breaking out in China. Nothing too surprising there. Let's get the left KMT, Yunnan clique. These guys down here start breaking apart again. There's the Lunan clique, Hunan, there they are. So Nanjing clique, I don't think I've ever actually have seen them win their war. I'm trying, I mean, we've seen so much Kaiserreich that we've probably seen them win at least once, but For now, well, we'll see how it goes. The Somme passes a new budget. As agreed through the latest round of Congress, the People's Minister of Agriculture, John Zierda, presents a new expanded budget for the stalled land reform progress. The lukewarm support of the left secured at Congress the bill passed with relative ease as it was supported by the National Democratic Association. Opposition to the bill was largely left to the Kievians that argued, as left wing had within the Armada before them, it was still too lenient towards landowners. However, their opposition proved fairly weak, and Lasada, leader of the Kievians, acquiesced to the new bill and would support peasants threatened by Germany's economic crisis. Leftist papers, Belaruska Dumka, and mildly criticized the BSPR's support for the bill, reserving the harsh judgment of Lusatska, himself a former member of the party until 1920. In her opinion, Lusatska's opposition to the bill was disingenuous and merely a ploy to co-opt leftists to his reactionary movement. Lusatska himself, though on his paper, Kievian, was quick to retort, accusing the BPSR abandoning their core support base and continuing to sell out to internationalism instead of helping develop the Belarusian Kievian nation. Either way, it appears that the radicals on both sides have wasted their venom on each other, letting us focus on the work that will actually benefit the people. We get 100 political power, very happy to see that. So what do we want to do? Right now, land reform is uncontroversial, and it's effective. Love to see it. What can we do with you next? Protect our authority. Our stability starts to go down. Probably not great. Let's deal with Black Monday first. Even though I said Black Monday wasn't that bad, I don't want to get it over with ASAP. So we can either ban or allow religious studies in school. Decrease the effectiveness. I mean, right now it's pretty effective. Compulsory union. Political power. You do get stability off of you. So we're going to allow... I guess I can... A lot of these, huh? We will allow religious studies. We will... I want to try... We need something that will increase the effectiveness. Let's secularize trade unions. Let's have voluntary membership. So land disputes. We'll get that one going next. And now we're on political power. But that's okay. So it's mildly effective. It's popular right now. This will increase both popularity and success. Very happy to see that. We can integrate the ones or we can cooperate with them. Probably want to go with cooperate, but we'll see how it goes. I guess you don't need to take all those decisions, huh? At least I don't think you need to take all of them. You can probably just let some of them just sit on the back burner for a while. Black money will be dealt with. Production physics cap. We also get a lot of infrastructure, which I'm quite happy with. After that, what we can do? We nationalize key industries. Come on, game. There we go. I mean, they're all basically doing the same thing. National Awakening. Blaming the left. KMT and Indian socialism overthrown in Tibet. We'll see how that ends up playing out in the larger conflict over there. But again, it's not. I don't think it's a big deal. We're already on effective. You know what? Let's siege large estates. Hopefully, Germany's okay with that and they won't blow us up. Fingers crossed on that one. Okay, we got our research speed upgrades. Follow you up with, guess what? Even more research speed. Definitely think that's worthwhile. Also, let's make sure we're actually in Belarus. Here we go to Zoom. Look at our beautiful country. Okay, there's been a minor protest. Significantly decreased popularity. Okay, cool. Thank you. I mean, it's still popular. Effective. It's popular. We love to see it. So I guess we just kind of balance everything out so that by the end of this, it's effective and it's popular. I mean, if it's effective and it's unpopular, then I don't know. That might lead to a coup. I'm actually not too sure. Land dispute in the countryside. The vast countryside of Belarus, land is primarily owned by landowners for agricultural purposes, worked by Belarusian peasants. The status quo has existed for decades at this point, but the introduction of Plan Zierda put the situation on its head. One landlord was attacked by a disgruntled peasant with syndicalist sympathies while touring his land together with his family. While very rare occasions, as most of the population of the countryside is not politically involved, the scandal has reached the front page of many newspapers across the country. But landlords lobbying the government to compensate the attacked party, while the people disgruntled with the landlords for the time now demand the government shouldn't favor the landlord class. We will you're getting us for more efficiency. We'll go with you right now. In 2 days, that should fix in a second. There we go. Bureaucratic issues? Okay, never mind. It did not work out in my... Did not work out. Okay, cool, cool. Thank you. But for right now, I think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching. My name is If you enjoyed, my thumbs up. Not enjoyed, click thumbs down. If you want to see more, subscribe. And goodbye.